Welcome to the Public Speaking Experts Podcast with Elliot K. and Jose UCAR. Every week we bring the tips, tools, and strategies for you to become a world-class public speaker. We bring you guests, experts, and authorities in the field of public speaking to enrich you and enhance your public speaking journey. Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment. And now, please welcome your hosts, Elliot and Jose.
Yay! I am so happy and excited to arrive at this moment. Do you know why, Jose?
I wish I knew. I guess if I knew, you wouldn't be asking me the question, right?
Well, I don't know. You seem to read my mind. So go on, read my mind.
Yeah, I want to read your mind. Well, you are super excited. First of all, because it is Monday and you love Mondays.
Yep.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's because you are speaking to me and you did miss me a lot over the weekend.
Yes.
Well, I'm liking that voice better than Elliot. Is that our guest speaker or is that someone else's?
Well, if that's a guest speaker, he's very
people.
Robotic.
Well, let's see. We're gonna look. Let's stop this nonsense. You are excited.
I'm excited because
I'm going to tell you. No, I'm going to tell you.
You're going to tell me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Exactly. I'm going to tell you. Because, people, I've been preparing for the moment like I do. I jump on the call a couple of seconds before.
I love you.
Plenty of preparation. Elliot is loving me and my mic is not working. So I don't know whether I'm shouting. I don't know whether people can hear me okay. But regardless of all of it, lots of technical issues, whatever. The thing is, we are recording yet another episode of the Public Speaking Experts Podcast. No matter what happens, no matter if Elliot is sick, looking bad, he's got bad breath, whatever is going on, he turns up. And we need to appreciate that, people. So Elliot is here, I'm here, and we've got an incredible guest. Elliot, I cannot wait. Let's run this episode. Let's get it out there because that's what we do, isn't it?
That
and I feel like I'm shouting.
I can't believe you mentioned bad breath. Why would you mention bad? Number one, it's a podcast recording, so no one would even know if I had bad breath. Number two,
good point.
Are you saying that when we met up, I had bad breath? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not what I'm saying. I mean, you're reading my mind. I mean, we spoke about this the last episode, so no mind reading, please.
Okay, no mind reading. Well, let's get going with the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. And we are here every single week and release a new episode every single Saturday with a highlighted episode every single Wednesday. And we are here to help you not only be great speakers, but to
speak your greatness. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And today we have an incredible guest. And we're going to approach one of those topics that sometimes people feel a bit about, right? It's one of the greatest skills you can have, yet it has one of sometimes a mixed reputation, but it's one of the most essential skills you must have in business, in life, and of course as a speaker. And we have the legend himself, David, the sales angel, with us. David, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. I know you've had COVID, so thank you for making the time for us today. First things first, how are you feeling? Do we need to wear masks as we do this podcast? Yeah, right. You're good?
Right. Yeah, the night I went down with it, I was sweating it out. Just I had no energy for the last couple of days. And then I've just been also had it at the same time. We've been chilling out, like it's all right. That was stuff. I mean, great granddad didn't have to worry when he was fighting in the war, like COVID, right? There's been a lot of people who've really suffered in life, but
yeah,
you're a 1-year-old male with all right health. It's not something I've got to really concern you. Get yourself better. A lot of people wish for that type of problem, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think with your grandfather fighting the war, he had a lot of other things to worry about.
Yeah.
Like rockets flying over his head, missiles, bullets, things like that. Yeah, I think that would put things into context a lot. You're 41. You look a lot younger. I mean, Jose, have you had a really hard life? No, you look much younger than 41. I wouldn't give you. But Jose, on the other hand, I'd give at least 51.
hey, David, buddy, we know who granddaddy is between us. So he's actually between us. So.
Not where I'm saying, but where I'm saying David's between us. He's saying David's the granddad.
Oh, yeah. No, what I'm saying from my perspective, No, hey, David, buddy, come on. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the podcast. Actually, when you weren't about to turn up.
Are you ageist? Like, is there an age cap you've given our podcast?
Yeah. I want cool people, young in the mind. That's what I wanted to say.
That's good. Well, everybody we invite on is young in their mind. So let's get down to business. Let's get going with this, because I think what's important is we utilize the time we have someone like David. Let's do this, David. So let's talk about the psychology of selling, which is what today's about. And David, from your experience, what are some of the challenges people face when it comes to speaking, and especially when you've dealt with people who are selling themselves as speakers? What, in your experience? And
I think the big problem you've got with it's the psychology. People don't look at themselves. Sales isn't the issue. Sales isn't even a thing.
Okay.
We just put a thing. Like, it's not a thing. It's a process. Right? Of do this, say that, get paid for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a process which enables anyone to get something done. Transfer, whether we're increasing a level of value, whether we're building a desire. Processes. And a lot of people out there, they're not sold on why them. A lot of people sell ourselves on stuff, right? But we've spent a lot of our lives selling ourselves BS reasons why not me. We've listened to people's opinions for so long. We brought it because this is what happens. We buy into an ourselves. What we believe now is not based on fact. Not us. We like the idea of what we have. Some we've had them as a building block, and other we built them up as a barrier. So everything in our life has been building blocks or barriers, and all of those building the words that we've had told to us, or things when people say about psychology of sales, flip on its head. I think someone sold you the idea of, but you're living right now. That are racist, but aren't even racist. They were, but this, that, and the other, and prejudgment, and all this crap. There's other things.
That's okay.
And a huge amount of time in psychology of sales where focused on what other people think. Like those people. We've all heard that phrase, right? We spend our lives trying to buy to impress people we don't really like. And we're more worried about, say, if I do this, because we comfortable, we know up. And the reason people don't like selling is to go out from where you are right now and done before. You have to go out of obscurity and you have to put your hand up and say, I'm prepared to be rejected.
Yes, true.
You about in the herd. We can be people for 10 hours. One of us could choose to, and you can actually probably shuffle around and not. Opinion, £1 billion. All you've got to do is be around people, but not give an opinion. You can do it, and a lot of people don't
Especially
realize
for £1 billion.
do that. Dale, you're an opinion. You're going in to talk what you believe, and if you've got an intention, if you've got a belief, it's say no, I don't agree with you, and we're not used to that. So we're not trying to articulate. Trying to say. So then we get annoyed, or we get shy, or we wither away instead of in that moment standing right now. That is differently. So I think the big thing for a lot of people is that we haven't stood up and said, "Hey, I'm ready for rejection," because it is part of it.
I really love what you're saying there, and I think what you're really saying is, sales is a reflection of self, our beliefs, what we talk and what we choose to believe, right? Because in essence, what you're saying is everybody can sell if they inherently believe in their ability to follow a product and what they have is of value to someone else, right? So you've really stripped it right back. So why do so many people struggle with selling? The amount of people I come across, don't know about you, Jose, when I train them, I work with them. They want to be, they're great speakers. The moment they think they're selling, they shrivel up, they close up, right? They're like, or when they think of the sales section, and I'm sure you've been to seminars where the sales, you know, the speaker comes to the sales. Now, of course, some of them are masterful at it and amazing at it, and there's a lot to learn. A lot of people shrivel up. Is that because it magnifies the inner self-worth and complexity around beliefs when it comes to selling? Is that what you're getting at?
I spoke to someone about this the other day. Imagine there's a cliff and there's a road bridge that goes over, or you can walk around. People that would stand there happily and want to this way, it's quicker, it's come this way. And he'd be like, no, I'm not interested. Come this way, mate. Honestly, you're going to go down there. It's going to take you 2 weeks to. I know it. And before he took that path, right? Do that because we know we're right. Now imagine working on that same bridge and you're on the bridge floor. It's the same detour, but because there's going to be a monetary exchange, we have a about it. But what are we doing? If Jose's just trying to get across the bridge, Jose, listen, I don't really care about it. But if you pay £5, it's going to save you like X hours from walking around. Like there's a different analogy. But actually, if the bridge, now imagine it's the other way. The other way is going to kill them. How much more? You definitely, mate. I'm all right. The big problem isn't. The big problem is a lot of people haven't got the belief in their product of what it's really going to do to it. Like people let their clients down a lot. If I want to impress, if I want to impact 10,000 people this year, not just they know me and they've heard me speak, but genuinely impact this year. How many people have got to dislike me? What if I? It would be impossible to really impact people knowing at least one person. I think it would be impossible. And a lot of people are not prepared to annoy that one to help the 10,000. They lower their goals, they lower their standards, they lower the delivery, they lower the percentage, they lower to stay back into that herd we spoke about at the moment. And I think that's a shame.
Yeah, I really like that. I have many questions, but I'm going to hand over to Jose now to ask one of his questions.
David, thank you for the analogy, and I will pay you the £5. Okay, I'm definitely crossing that bridge with you. So what I'm getting is, based on what you guys are sharing on the discussion and everything else, yes, it's about, I like to say how excited or how much, as you said, you believe about the product, your business, what you do, what you stand for, and everything else. But then what if I don't? And, you know, for a reason, whenever it comes to charging, I struggle. How would you help these people? What would you say to them? Because let's face it, I come across a lot people like this. And as I was saying to Elliot, as speakers as well, it is important, whatever we decide to call it, to have Teflon shoulders every now and then, to have thicker skin. Yeah. Because rejection is out there. But it doesn't matter that we say it and that we say, people, get ready for rejection, because even, I mean, whenever they're rejected the first time, it can knock them down and they don't stand up ever again. So what would you say is there, let's talk about the mindset. What would you say is the mindset for a person that goes into selling for the first time and they get knocked down? How would you encourage them to dust themselves off and do it again?
I've got a guy who started with me today. A new campaign using LinkedIn, and I've took this guy on, and I want you to go at this, and I want you to get no's. I don't want to buy from you. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "We've just trained for 2 weeks, so for someone to get on the phone for me, I'm in training for 2 hours here, couple of bits there, stick him in front of a PDF, one-on-one role play." For 3 hours a day, because I said you're going to hate the training, but you'll because I'm going to make it so boring because you're doing it right. Because the energy, that's because the very same thing that we feel is nerves is very similar to being excited.
Right.
People don't know to differentiate that when they're in sales. The judgment. Instead of me worrying about you going off, here's 10 deals. I want you to call as many as you can today. And I want you to get at least of it. That sounds more manageable. But when you find out on how that conversation goes, when you know how to ask, how you confidently and competently identify what to ask, you know where the conversation goes. Most people they can't sell. They haven't thought about the conversation. I want you to walk from Newcastle to. I'll give you your phone. You've got your modern technology. You might not want to do the walk, but £1 billion. I've got phone. You got Spotify. What? We take all your technology away. We take all the roadsides down, and we just. That's that way. It'll take you 3 days. You would go different because you wouldn't be. How many times would you check your sat nav when you're walking down the road? You ever use one of those maps? You know it's 2 blocks away, and I look at it like no insurance, right? It's a little warm, cozy blanket. Big thing we've got in life. We all do this. We all say outside of our comfort zone until it gets uncomfortable. So if we're a big flag outside our house and we say, listen, I live outside my car for cold. I'm all right with the rain. The rain don't melt my. And I'm going to go out and live out. And I'll come back every so often. I do that with salespeople. When you go out, get some no's, come back. But just do the process. Because they're doing the process, not just for the goal. Process. Because they know when this happens here, I do this. When they say that, instead of just going, I want a deal. Hey, do you want to buy from? Hey. But when you've got a clear process, when you've got an alignment, when you we know how to cook dinner, right? You go and bake it.
Debatable.
Say you need to bake a cake for half an hour. Don't matter but you can go and bake. If you take them out after 20 minutes, what happens? The cake's screwed. How good the recipe is.
Jose made it.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. In for 10 minutes too long. This oven's terrible. This is an awful cake recipe. No! It's just the recipe. Oh, it doesn't really matter if it's at 120. Yes, it does. That's why it's called the recipe.
Right.
Look, David, I'm loving this quickly, Elliot, because I know, I mean, I can imagine because now David has spoken about the process and there's going to be some incredible nuggets in there. But one thing, and I want you to share this with the audience, when it comes to rejection, you get rejected. What do you think about? What do you say to yourself when you get rejected?
I look for it. If I'm talking to you now about a product, say we get any, and you give me an objection. Give me any objection you want. This is not.
David. No, it's not rehearsed. Well, people know that this is just happening here. So, David, too expensive, mate. Your services are too expensive.
First and foremost, thinking so much about price, and you're looking to buy it, but you're just. Let me know. If the money was right, would you buy it?
Yeah, if the money's right, I'll buy it.
Okay, cool. What do you like about it?
About the price or the product?
Yeah, do you see where we go with it? If someone tells you it's too... What they're not saying I didn't like it. If they say I hate you... Someone says it's too expensive. In my head, I can't afford it yet. Or I don't see
the value
to hand over the money. If I'm buying a car off Jose for 30 and I see £30,000 worth of value, I'm not buying your car.
You need to see 4 times
the value to buy that car, because otherwise I value it in my bank more than I do it having the keys in exchange. So when you go to ask me to buy something from you, I are greater value you giving me your product or service in exchange for the money. You ever see the old spy films and they did a handover?
Yeah.
Imagine if we're on that bridge now, is what they're enough to send all this over, or would I rather have it? It's the risk. Decision making. It's explaining it to other people that have implemented. So we've got to lean towards, if someone's not giving me an objection at some point, they're going to give me £15,000 for coaching, and they're like, yeah, oh, okay. I'd be more thinking they're not going to complete on this purchase. Because you're about to bring me into your business for the next year. You're going to have me work with you. You're going to have to implement my new ideas. You're going to have to be accountable to any question. Of course you would. So when you give me an objection, I just have to ascertain, is it an actual objection because you're interested that I'm pitching the wrong person, the wrong product? And
that comes also from your qualifying. You'd know that from your qualifying process, exactly. Right?
That's why they don't. That's why they end up in the wrong place.
Right. So if we look at, speakers and things like that. So what you're saying is, if I, take it across board, number one, make sure you're speaking from the right audiences. Make sure the audiences is well qualified or know the level they're coming at. Because there's certain audiences you can't go and pitch 15 grand, but there's certain audiences you can go pitch 15 grand. Also know their objections up front. So something we talk about is to pre-qualify the objection through the talk. And there's various ways to do that as well. So you almost take that out of the equation. So actually, when it comes to the process, they're talking buying questions, or they're talking about, okay, where do I mean, ultimately you want to go, where do I sign? Here's my credit card, right? Or here's my card, not credit card. Or maybe, I don't know. Actually, let's go there in a second. I want to deep dive into that a sec. So it's really fascinating to hear you talk about that. You just reminded me, when I used to do my strategic stuff, I used to train a lot of guys I work with. We used to talk about go for the no, right? Yeah. Just get the no's, get it done.
Find them, they're there.
Right? Learn to deal with them and move forward.
The only person who doesn't know is the salesperson. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Right. No, that's okay. You're here to share your knowledge. Please interrupt. I mean, I'm here every week. You're a guest expert. So that's fantastic what you're saying there. So first of all, I just want to say, everybody listening out there, this is incredible. Everyone watching out there, this is incredible. So make sure that you also like and subscribe to the podcast. We release them every single week. Every Saturday, a new one comes out, and then it's recycled every Wednesday. We're also live every day in Clubhouse. If you want to catch us, the Public Speaking Expert Show on Clubhouse as well. While Clubhouse still exists, it might not exist by the time you listen to this. Who knows? But also, this show is sponsored by David the Sales Angel. And if you want to find out more about David, where do they go to find out more about your services?
Closedealstoday.com is the easiest place. Closedealstoday.com.
Closedealstoday.com as well. So let me ask you about this, David, because I think this is a moral dilemma within the industry, especially the speaking industry.
Yeah.
How much what's your take on pushing people to get into debt to get results? What's your take on that? Is that okay? Not okay?
I think it depends.
Bad, not bad.
I mean, if you've got £1,000 and we've got to with people. If you've got £1,000 in your bank account, telling you to go and buy some wazzle dazzle course it's going to make next week, right? If you've got a credit limit on there and you're going to spend £2,000 on a course that you are going to complete, that you know is going to work and is going to get you out of your job you hate, you love, then I think it's an electrician today. This magical gas bottle is £500. It's going to train into a nail gun, right? And you need a nail gun. The job's more. Would it be worthwhile buying that? Yes, I believe it would. The big problem is a lot of the time don't need to use it because they're buying into an idea that there's a magic pill. Just buy this course, just put it underneath your sofa. Don't look it up. You'll be amazed at the results. No, I tell everyone who coaching after 3 to 4 weeks of working with me, you will not. And people are out because you're not going to. Because after 3 weeks, the what you're doing is worn off. The excitement's dissipated. Now at the stage where it's becoming hard, it's getting boring, it's getting monotonous. Starting to. So you've got to expect to hate me at that point. So to my point with, I've got friends that only pay for stuff on credit cards. So technically, you're getting in. And there's never going to be a one size fits all for people. Most people out there are not going to go and put the work into a program or into a course. This is why we've changed now from doing it on almost like a subscription basis. So on the flip side, last year on Clubhouse, I did 4 years, 24 single access to my for free to people that were struggling, right? Crying on Clubhouse, and they were like, no one ever helps me. No one. And I'm like, listen, I'm going to give you a year's worth of everything you need. Out of, but I've never logged in once.
And out of the ones that have, how many? And out of the ones that have, how many have actually applied?
About 4.
You know? Okay.
All of them communicate to me well, right?
Right.
So
right.
if we think of
reflective
4 people, 4 of them are actually going to put the work, log in, they're going to put the effort. For them, it'd be worthwhile if it's a good. But a lot of people aren't doing that. They're getting caught up in the hype.
Right.
It's spray parties, and they're trying to buy style, not to do the work that got the lifestyle.
Right. Right. Love that. Jose, you've got your nodding going. What's your question?
David, buddy, thank you so much for this, because I'm sure, well, there's plenty of value for the audience and for myself as well. Maybe not for Elliot, because he's a bit of a smarty pants sometimes. I do love him. I do love him, though. And I ask
me
about
dealing with rejection, David. Every
exactly.
time you
So
record,
there we go.
Rejection
After rejection. And that's why I really wanted to touch on the rejection piece. I'm not going to go there again, because for people, it's just a big struggle. That rejection, not being liked, and it impacts their mental health. And I've been speaking about resilience recently, and that's one of the things. What are people going to say about me? What if they don't like me? What if they don't accept me? So what you shared today, and I love the reframes and everything else. And I ask you, oh, there we go. So we love you. We love you, David. I love you, Elliot. So a bit of a, the reframe you did, and I think people listening to that bit specifically, it's really going to help them. It's like you don't give a, I know I don't want to swear on the podcast, but you just don't give a damn about that, because you need it. You're looking forward to it. And I really like that. That's the one thing. Then you're explaining the whole process. And towards the end, people listening to this, is that people don't apply. People don't tend to apply the stuff. They just go, yes, they keep on learning. They keep on attending things, and they don't apply, and they wonder why they haven't got results. How many people, Elliot, again, have signed up? Because, I want to turn this into a bit of a quick conversation. How many people join your masterminds and things like that, but then they don't follow through? Of course, you're not going to get the results at the end if you don't actually invest the time and everything else. So people listening to this is what we want you to do, the podcast, everything else is for you to learn, apply, do something. If you're getting in touch with us, with me, with Elliot, with David, and then just to, have I said apply? 1, 2, 3 times, apply. Now,
the other
David,
thing I want to add, sorry.
Okay, yeah, no, do that bit, and then I've got a question now. I just wanted to be okay. Thank you very much. You do, and then I've got a question for David and see what his take on that one.
Okay, cool. I think the other thing to remember is that there's no utopic ending, right, David? It's no like, I've arrived.
There's no finish line. It ain't a marathon.
Exactly, right. Everyone's knocking down my door and dropping money on my lap, and everyone's booking me. It's like this continuous, right? You're dodging the money being thrown at you, or underwear, depending where you're speaking, right? But in all seriousness, it's a continuous evolution, right? Because markets change, people's buying habit change, how people buy change. And I think that's the other thing is a lot of people get to this level, they get to a level and they just stop and they become plateaued. And
every movie we watch,
Right.
it finishes
or
on
the
the good.
montage.
Right. Okay, great. Look,
And that's
most of
it.
the big movies you've ever seen, right? And they write. In some of those films, they get hit by a truck and die. In some of those films, they left you for the plumber. In some of those films, you made it.
I was working with a plumber today. Funny you mentioned plumbers.
But it's true, right? In the
Yeah, exactly.
we see the Rocky one, right? Beaten up, bruised, and what? He's up on the run, not sat there crying with anxiety and depression. We see him beaten up and sad. Then it's straight to the next day, and he's out running. Struggle for 2 minutes, right? Then we fast forward.
Adrian.
We do a over a 6-month training boot camp, crammed into a. Then he runs up the stairs. Then he's in the ring, and that's what everyone.
That's it.
No,
Well, that's life.
Yeah, that was a 2-year. That would have been in real life a 2-year crammed into 3 minutes of a film, and at the end of it, goes to crap. The end of it was no big celebration. If we took every big, the impact would be dramatically different to every film you've ever watched.
Yeah, of course.
It's so true.
Yeah. So it's a never-ending. Yeah, it's a never-ending process, and people need to understand that. And actually, I find whenever you go to another level, you're starting from scratch. I find the more you grow, the less you know. People think the more you grow, the more you know. And I think it's the actual opposite. Every time I think I've arrived somewhere and I know it all, I'm reminded very quickly how little I actually know. And I think that's part of the evolution of the journey. Of course, I've got skills I'm carrying with me to go to the next level. But actually, what got you from A to B will not get you from B to C. And again, I think that's important to mention. So, Jose, over to your. I love this.
I think Elliot, loving the conversation. And so, I mean, we're always sold the dream. So people, there is no dreams out there like that anyway. So you got to work for it. David, I have a quote which I like. And by the way, I've spent so much time with Elliot that sometimes he says things that I was thinking about. So I don't know whether that's good or bad, but that's a different story for another day. Buddy, you know what I want people to remember is your angle. Your angle when it comes to all of this and how you face things, because there is a real talent and a great strategy that you're running. So I would definitely like to pick your brain a bit more. So I've got this quote that got sent to me. He's asking you out,
David. He's asking.
Yeah, I want to go out with you, but in good terms. I'm married anyway. Look, I've got this quote, buddy, that I've been shared in the past, and then I kind of, I always like to share it and see what people think about it. It's from Seth Godin. You may have read it, heard it in the past. May apply, may not apply. What's your take on it? It goes like this. If you want to grow now, you'll need to get someone to not only decide that you're worth their time and money, you'll also need to motivate them to act now instead of later. What's your take on that? I can read it again if you like, if you didn't understand my super accent.
I agree. The big thing for a lot of people is we're waiting for big golden moments. And now there's a fine line between pressuring someone who doesn't need or want and talking to people in a nice way. I say to people all the time, I can take a yes, I can take a no. I'm not trying to sell to them. But if you tell me now that you want to go 3 weeks, I'd rather we just say in a minute it's a no again. Realistically, if people aren't ready to buy now, stuff. But when you say maybe, you say to me like no. Nothing happens in maybe. No one lives in. No one enjoys being in. If you're genuinely going to sit there and you're going to get a chart out and write your pros and cons, you got a couple of big companies. They have to go off, and when they do their presentations, there's a lot of process. But in a typical B2C environment, going off and about it. Here's the problem in sales. Most the order when the person is not motivated or at the stage to close anyway. People feel pressured. I talk to people about an analogy of a key and a lock. The sales process is a key and the buyer is a lock. Unlock their decision to make a purchase. Let's run it in a certain temperature. And most people are getting a little bit of desire, a little bit of want, and they're like, okay, great, let's go ahead. Whoa. I feel pressured. Because the salesperson was in a
Jose's dating strategy.
Sounds
like Jose's dating strategy.
Actually, well, David, no, I love that. And lovely analogy.
True, what you're saying. Yeah.
And great talent. When it comes to speaking as well, all the different analogies you use to illustrate the points are fantastic. And I was thinking about this, selling without selling. And this is what I mean. I get overexcited about what I do, but when I'm out there, I'm speaking to people. Actually, I've realized that some of my greatest clients I've actually met at the gym or having just a random conversation about something. Yes. And because I, first of all, I love what I do. I believe in what I do. Okay. And then as I spot something in that person, I just say, wow, have you thought about doing this? For example, the other day I'm speaking to this guy. He's giving me a great session in the gym. So it's a personal trainer. He's speaking in a way and everything else. I say, have you got a YouTube channel? How are you leveraging all of this knowledge? I said to me, no. What if you started speaking? Have you considered it? No, but yeah, I've tried and this and that. Look, mate, what if I could help you? What do you do? And then we started a conversation. Simple, because of the enthusiasm I injected into the human being and the possibilities, the potential that person has, which is another angle. In a way, I'm not trying to sell it, but by the passion we have about what we do, it becomes infectious. So in a way, exactly. And there isn't, if you think about it, there isn't a process. I didn't go out that day and say, I'm going to sell you. It just happened. So it's about the level, the human connection. Absolutely.
You're just not aware of it.
Well, yeah, this is
exactly. Of course, there's always strategy. Yeah.
Consciously competent level of effectiveness with, like, you live and breathe what you do, so your conscious mind spots out opportunities in to the forefront. In the same way you guys heard of your RAS, you're right about.
Yeah.
Okay. So for anyone who's listening in,
I have
yellow BMW today, and suddenly all you see is yellow BMW. To buy that new handbag. No one's ever had it. Now everyone's got it. That's not. There was a big spike in yellow BMWs. It's a part of our brain called our reticular activating system. And what it basically does is where our attention goes, whatever we're focusing on, that's what happens. That's what he likes it. Attention, show it more. So when you're in the gym and you see avatar and you know the pain points that you fix to that level, as soon like lining up a target. But they line up a target on the cannon, right? And then suddenly the plane target conscious target locks onto people when it happens. And when that criteria happens, your level of unconscious automatically kicks in. So without selling, what becoming is so effective at your craft, know it so well, become such a field, live the absolute passion and know how to deliver it for over time. Subconsciously, you prospect. That's what we did. So when we say sell without selling, first we have to effectively learn how to sell to sell without selling, because it still happens. We're just not as conscious of what we're.
Elliot, are we going to have David on the show again? This conversation, apart from insightful, it is fun. So, David.
Well, it depends how well your date goes. If your date goes well, we'll probably will.
Well, let me just tell you.
I don't think my dating scenes have anything to do. So I'm going to be.
Amazing. Well, listen, Last question as we start to wrap up. And yes, we'd definitely love to have you back, David, if you'd love
Yeah,
to come back,
anytime.
and we can definitely deep dive in this more. The other thing I really love about David, by the way, Jose, I don't know if you know about David, but David is a incredible, as we've all heard, source of knowledge and expertise. Yet every month he hires someone else to work with him to help him improve it. So David is certainly living the whole there's no finishing goal and there's no end post. And, you know, we've had conversation. David said, you know what, I'm going to come around to you. I'm going to say, in 1 month, you'll be my guy. And then another month, he's going to dump me and go to someone else.
Yeah, 100%.
But you know what? I think that's a great testimony to who you are, that you're not just going, no, I know this stuff, I can sit back and kick my legs. I think it's actually incredible. And more people at your level should be doing that. But
I don't get it. Quickly on that, if I can. It's like you now living in France as a kid and then going, yeah, seen the world. Right? It's like my highest in a new country.
I love
That's
that.
all it is to me.
It is really good.
But there's people out there that went to France, to Calais. They saw some terrible places, some fireworks, right? They came back, got in trouble, come out with, yeah, I've been to France. Oh,
right,
that was, but I don't think that's the whole of France. Oh, yeah, Europe's done for me. People don't want to travel, and good for you, being confident in your area. But for me, hiring an out of pure curiosity, but I know, like we said earlier, new level, new depth, zero of where I'm going to be in my life. This is my base camp. Like, all the gear, but I'm going to need to get new skills to get to that next level. Even me to think that I brought all the gear I need at base camp. So I need with me who knows the journey I'm going on to get me to that next stage. Elliot, someone's going to take me from that to that one. All we're doing is hiring guides to get to our journey. It's a little bit of a journey. Rather than being arrogant and thinking you're going to climb, that's definitely going to...
Unless you've got the bridge to sell to get Jose across, then we're okay, right? For £5.
Oh, $5 now. I thought it was £5. Yeah, definitely. $5.
So what would be your final message to everybody listening to this podcast now and moving forwards, David?
Most of the stuff you ever think wasn't. Most people don't realize I had a complete breakdown years ago, lost everything. Here, that's not you talking to you. That's an echo of someone saying it to you previously. So when you hear you can't do this, that's someone else's echo that's in you. Some person, someone you didn't care about, like about, but you've held on to it. And place for being you. So just because there's echoes in your mind, don't mistake those for and trust and believe it. If I can do this, if I can do what I do now, anybody can. Like literally anybody. Realize what's my thoughts and what are other people's echoes. And once we
I love that. Brilliant way to finish. Jose, anything to add?
I'm going to say thank you so much, David. A pleasure. And people, get in touch. Get in touch with us. Get in touch with David. Go and check out his website. Take some action. That's all I'm going to say.
So, David, just remind everybody where to get in touch with you. Where can they follow you? Social media, etc., etc. Over to you, my man.
Go onto the World Wide Web and go to today.com. So closedealstoday.com. Instagram at the Sales Angel, that type of jazz, thesalesangel.com. You can go to closedealstoday.com. There's a free mastermind that people can use. And there's no sale on. All these things are going to get heavily sold. It's not. I literally guilt people because I give so many trainings away that they're like, crap. If he imagine what the to get close deals today, get a free training, use it in your business, and then use it from that to come and hire me.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Listen, people, just remember this. If you're not standing on stage, sharing your message, sharing your brand, your product, your service, someone else is. So get out there and sell